The smoke burned Hana's eyes. She could taste blood in her mouth. Around her lay the bodies of her squad, 12 warriors who had fought beside her for 3 years. Now they were gone. All of them. She stood alone in the ruins of the outpost. Her plasma spear flickered in her hand. The energy cell was almost empty. Maybe 30 seconds of power left. Not enough. Across the broken ground, 12 Volgrim soldiers moved toward her. They were massive creatures. Each one stood 8 feet tall with thick armor covering their bodies. 4 arms carried heavy weapons. They walked slowly. They knew she was finished. Hana's skin glowed with blue light. The marks on her arms pulsed faster. Fear. Her body showed what her mind tried to hide. She had always been afraid of dying. But she was more afraid of dying badly. A warrior of Kiora did not surrender. A warrior of Kiora fought until the end. She raised her spear. The Volgrim commander laughed. The sound was like metal grinding against stone. He said something in his language. The other soldiers laughed too. They raised their weapons. Hana took a breath. Then she charged. She made it 5 steps before the sky screamed. Something fell from above. It came down like a meteor, trailing fire and smoke. The impact shook the ground so hard that Hana fell. The Volgrim stumbled backward. A crater opened between them. Dust filled the air. Hana pushed herself up. She stared at the crater. Something was moving inside. A shape rose from the smoke. It was smaller than a Volgrim, smaller than a Kiorian. The armor was strange, black and gray with glowing panels. A helmet covered the face. The figure looked around. Then it spoke. The voice came from the helmet, translated into perfect Kiorian. "Looks like I'm late to the party. Mind if I join this fight?" The Volgrim commander roared. He pointed at the stranger. His soldiers opened fire. Plasma bolts filled the air. The stranger moved. Fast. Faster than Hana thought possible. The figure rolled, ducked, and ran. The plasma bolts missed. Every single one. Then the stranger fired back. But these were not plasma weapons. These made a different sound. Loud cracks that echoed across the ruins. Hana saw metal bullets tear through Volgrim armor. 2 soldiers fell. Then 3. Then 4. The stranger ran toward cover. Pulled something from a belt, threw it. The object bounced once, twice, then it exploded. The blast threw 2 more Volgrim into the air. Hana could only watch. This was not how war was supposed to be. This was chaos. The stranger never stopped moving. Never fought the same way twice. Used debris as weapons. Turned the ruins into traps. Made the Volgrim chase shadows. A Volgrim soldier tried to flank. He moved around a broken wall. The stranger saw him. Pulled out a knife. But it was not a normal knife. It glowed with blue energy. The stranger closed the distance in seconds. The knife went through the Volgrim's armor like it was paper. 5 Volgrim left. They formed a circle around the stranger, trapped. Or so they thought. The stranger looked at Hana, then threw something. Hana caught it by instinct. It was a small weapon. Black metal, heavy. Point that end at the ugly ones, the stranger said. Pull the trigger, simple. Hana stared at the weapon. Then at the Volgrim. They were turning toward her now. She pointed the weapon. Found the trigger, pulled. The gun kicked in her hands. The sound was deafening, but the Volgrim closest to her fell. A hole in his chest plate, she fired again. And again. The weapon was simple, brutal, effective. The stranger used the distraction. Killed 2 more Volgrim with that glowing knife. The last 2 tried to run. They did not make it far. Silence fell over the battlefield. Hana stood there breathing hard. Her hands shook. The weapon fell from her fingers. The stranger walked toward her, touched something on the helmet. It split open and folded back. A face looked at her. Not Kiorian, not Volgrim. Something else. The skin was darker. The eyes were brown. A scar cut across the left cheek. And the stranger was smiling. Name's June, he said. You fight pretty good for someone who was about to die. Hana tried to speak. Her legs gave out. She fell to her knees. The wound in her side was worse than she thought. Blood soaked her uniform. June was beside her in an instant. He pressed something against her wound. Cool gel spread over the injury. The pain faded. Stay with me, he said. He spoke into a device on his wrist. This is June. I need immediate evac. 1 wounded Kiorian. And yeah, I found her. She's alive. A ship descended from the clouds. It was like nothing Hana had ever seen, angular, aggressive, human. What are you? Hana managed to ask. June grinned. Human from Earth. Welcome to the Coalition, soldier. The real war is about to start. The ship's ramp lowered. June picked her up like she weighed nothing. As her vision darkened, Hana had one last thought. What kind of species fights like that? Hana woke to white walls and soft light. For a moment she thought she was dead. Then the pain reminded her she was alive. Dull pain, controlled by medicine, but still there. She was in a hospital bed. Through the window she could see space, stars, and ships. So many ships. Some were Kyorian vessels, sleek and elegant, but others were different, angular, built like weapons. Human ships. The door opened. A Kyorian doctor entered, followed by Commander Mirai. The commander wore her dress uniform. Her face was serious. How do you feel, soldier? Mirai asked. Alive, Hana said. Thanks to... what was he called? A human? Mirai nodded. Yes. The humans made contact with the Galactic Assembly 6 months ago. They offered to help us fight the Volgrim. Most of the Assembly was afraid to accept. But we were desperate. We said yes. Why were they afraid? Hana asked. Because humans come from a death world, Mirai said. Their planet tried to kill them for millions of years. Extreme weather. Dangerous animals, disease, they had to fight just to survive. It made them different. Hana thought about the way June had fought. The chaos, the brutality, the effectiveness. I saw one fight, she said. It was like nothing I've ever seen. That is why we need them, Mirai said. You will be their liaison. Learn from them. Teach them about us. We must work together now. After Mirai left, Hana spent 2 days recovering. The medical staff whispered about the humans. Some were curious. Others were scared. All of them had questions Hana could not answer. On the 3rd day, June visited. He carried a small package. He still wore his armor, though the helmet was off. Hey, he said. Glad you're not dead. Thank you, Hana said. For saving me, June shrugged. You were fighting alone against bad odds. That's the kind of person worth saving. Here, I brought you something. He handed her the package. Inside was a container of some kind of food. Red sauce, thin strands of something white. It smelled strange, spicy. It's called ramyun, June said. Noodles. From Earth, from my home city, actually. Try it. Hana took a small bite. The spice hit her tongue like fire. She gasped, grabbed water, drank the whole cup. Her eyes watered. Her throat burned. June laughed. Sorry. I forgot other species can't handle capsaicin. That's the spicy chemical. Humans love it. We put it in everything. You eat that for fun? Hana asked, still coughing. Yeah, some people even have competitions. Who can eat the spiciest food? It's stupid but fun. Hana stared at him. Your people are insane. Probably, June agreed. He sat down. Want to know about Earth? For the next hour, June talked. He told her about Earth's history. The constant wars. Humans fighting each other for thousands of years. Nuclear weapons. Climate disasters, pandemics. Each time they almost destroyed themselves. Each time they survived. We're not peaceful, June said. We never have been. But we're good at surviving. And we're very good at fighting. Why did you come here? Hana asked. To space, I mean. To fight for us. June was quiet for a moment. I lost people in Earth's wars. Family. Friends. When we finally united and reached the stars, I thought maybe we could do something better. Protect people instead of killing each other. So I volunteered. Do you regret it? No, June said. Fighting is what I know. Might as well fight for something that matters. Hana understood that. She had lost her squad. She fought now for their memory. For redemption. How do you do it? She asked. Fight like that. Without any honor or rules. June looked at her seriously. Honor doesn't matter if you're dead. Rules don't matter if your people are enslaved. We fight to win, whatever it takes. Does that bother you? I don't know, Hana admitted. Everything I was taught says war should have rules, should have dignity. Maybe it should, June said. But the Volgrim don't care about your rules. They'll kill you either way. So you adapt. You survive. You win. Before Hana could respond, alarms screamed through the station. Red lights flashed. An announcement echoed through every speaker. All forces to battle stations. Volgrim fleet detected. This is not a drill, June stood immediately. He checked his weapons. Guess rest time is over. Can you fight? Hana pulled herself out of bed. Her side hurt, but the wound had healed enough. She grabbed her new plasma spear from the equipment locker. I can fight. June grinned. Good. Let's go show them what happens when humans and Kiorians work together. They ran toward the armory. Outside the window, Hana could see the Volgrim fleet approaching. Hundreds of ships, maybe thousands. Her people could not win this fight alone, but they were not alone anymore. The space battle began with silence. In the void, no sound traveled, but through the station's windows, Hana could see the war unfold. The Kiorian fleet formed traditional lines. Elegant, disciplined. They fired plasma volleys at the approaching Volgrim ships. Blue energy streaked across the darkness. The Volgrim answered with overwhelming force. They had 3 times as many ships. Their formation was a hammer, meant to crush everything in its path. Then the human fleet moved. They did not form lines. They did not hold formation. Each ship moved independently, weaving through the battlefield like hunters. They accelerated toward the Volgrim fleet at speeds that should have torn them apart. "They're insane," someone whispered on the command channel. Hana and June stood in the armory with 20 other soldiers, half Kiorian, half human. They were the defense team for this section of the station. If the Volgrim boarded, they would be the first line. "Listen up," June said to the group. "Volgrim tactics are simple. They'll send boarding pods, lots of them. They'll try to overwhelm us with numbers. Don't let them establish a foothold. Hit them while they're still getting out of the pods." A human soldier raised her hand. Her name was Nari. "What about the reactor section? If they take that, the whole station explodes." "I'll handle the reactor," June said. "Hana, you're with me. The rest of you split into 3 teams. Hold the docking bays." The station shook. Something had hit the shields. Then again. And again. Alarms blared. Boarding pods detected. Multiple impacts. Section C, Section F, and Section J, move. June shouted. The teams scattered. Hana followed June through the corridors. They ran past panicking civilians, past injured soldiers being carried to medical. The station shook again. They reached Section F just as the first Volgrim emerged from their pod. Big, armored, armed with heavy weapons. They started firing immediately. June did not slow down. He threw something ahead. It bounced. Stuck to the wall near the Volgrim, exploded. The blast ripped through their formation. Hana charged through the smoke. Her spear blazed with energy. She stabbed one Volgrim through the chest, dodged another's weapon. Struck again, June fought beside her. His movements were different from before, more controlled. He was teaching her, showing her how to fight with humans. Use the environment. Stay moving, never give them a clean shot. They cleared Section F in 3 minutes. 18 Volgrim dead. 0 friendly casualties. Reactor section, June said. "We need to go now." They ran deeper into the station, down maintenance tunnels, through service corridors. June seemed to know every shortcut, every hidden path. "How do you know this station so well?" Hana asked. "Studied the schematics," June said. "Always know your battlefield." Human rule number 1. They reached the reactor level. The doors were sealed. "Locked from the inside. They're already in there," Hana said. June pulled out a small device, attached it to the door. "Step back." The device beeped 3 times, then exploded. Not a big explosion, precise. It melted through the door's lock mechanism. They kicked the door open, rushed inside. 8 Volgrim were in the reactor chamber. They had already placed charges on the reactor core. If those charges went off, the station would be destroyed. Everyone on board would die. The Volgrim saw them, raised weapons. Hana counted. 8 enemies, 2 allies. Impossible odds, June smiled. Human rule number 2. When you can't win fair, cheat. He pulled out 3 grenades, but he did not throw them at the Volgrim. He threw them at the ceiling, at the coolant pipes running above the reactor. The grenades exploded. The pipes ruptured. Superheated coolant sprayed across the chamber. The temperature went from cold to burning in seconds. Steam filled the air. The Volgrim screamed, blinded and confused. June and Hana moved through the chaos. They knew where the Volgrim were. The Volgrim could not see anything. It was not a fight. It was an execution. When the steam cleared, all 8 Volgrim lay dead. June ran to the reactor, pulled the charges off carefully, disabled them one by one. "Done," he said. "Reactor is safe." Hana leaned against a wall. She was exhausted, burned, but alive. "You're crazy." "Yeah," June agreed. But it worked. They returned to the command center. The battle in space was ending. The Volgrim fleet was retreating, not destroyed but broken. The human ships had torn through their formations like wolves through sheep. Commander Mireille stood at the main console. She looked at the tactical display, at the wreckage, at the retreating Volgrim. Her expression was unreadable. A human officer approached. General Taiyang. He was older, gray-haired, with hard eyes. He saluted Mireille. "Your tactics are barbaric," Mireille said. "Effective, but barbaric," Taiyang nodded. "War is barbaric, Commander. We just stopped pretending otherwise a long time ago." Mireille was silent for a moment. Then she extended her hand in the human gesture of respect. "Thank you for your help." Taiyang shook her hand. "We're allies now. Where you fight, we fight," Hana watched from the doorway. She thought about everything she had seen. The human way of war, brutal, chaotic, but undeniably effective. June stood beside her. "What are you thinking?" "I'm thinking," Hana said slowly, "that I have a lot to learn." June smiled. "Good, because this was just the beginning." 2 weeks passed. Hana was assigned to the joint military base on Vikara, a frontier world between Kyorian and Volgrim space. The base was half Kyorian, half human. The difference was obvious. The Kyorian side was clean, organized, beautiful even. Gardens grew under artificial light. Water features created peaceful sounds. Everything had a purpose and a place. The human side looked like a fortress. Concrete walls. Weapons everywhere. Training grounds scarred with impact craters. No decorations. Just function. Hana spent her days learning. She trained with human weapons. Studied human tactics. Watched how they prepared for war. What surprised her most was their attitude. During downtime, they laughed. They joked. They played games that simulated violence. They seemed to enjoy preparing for death. One evening, she found June in the gym. He was lifting weights. Heavy ones. His muscles strained with each repetition. "Why do you do this?" Hana asked. "You're already strong enough." June set down the weights. "Because strong enough is never enough. There's always someone stronger, something harder. You push yourself now so you don't break later. Your people never rest. Can't," June said. "Our planet taught us that. Stop moving, you die. Stop improving, you die. It's in our blood now." He grabbed a towel, wiped his face, and "Come on. There's something you need to see." He led her to the intelligence center. Inside, Commander Mireille and General Taiyang stood around a holographic display. The image showed a massive fleet. Volgrim ships, hundreds of them. "War Prime Krell is assembling his full fleet," Mireille said. "He's taking this personally now. He will attack Kiora Prime directly. Our homeworld. How long do we have?" Taiyang asked. 3 weeks, maybe 4. "And our chances of winning?" Mireille's voice was steady, but Hana could see the fear in her eyes. The tactical AI calculated the odds. The number appeared on the screen. 0% survival probability. The room was silent. Then Taiyang laughed. Not a happy laugh. A dark, tired laugh. "Good. They're bringing everything. Makes it easier to destroy them all at once." Mireille stared at him. "The AI says we cannot win." "The AI doesn't know humans," Taiyang said. "We've beaten worse odds. We'll beat these too." Later that night, Hana found June on the observation deck. He stared out at the stars. She stood beside him. "Are you afraid?" she asked. June was quiet for a long moment. "Yeah, always. Fear keeps you sharp. Keeps you alive. Then how do you keep fighting? Because being afraid doesn't mean you stop. It means you're alive. It means you still care about living." He turned to look at her. "You lost your squad. You feel guilty." "I can see it." Hana nodded slowly. "I made a mistake. A tactical error. They died because of me. And you're still here. Still fighting. That's what matters. Guilt means you care. Dead inside is worse. Honor the dead by surviving. By making their deaths mean something." Hana felt something break inside her. She had carried the guilt for so long. Held it like a weapon against herself. But June was right. Her squad would want her to live, to fight. "To win, I want to learn," she said. "Everything. How humans fight. How you think. I want to be ready for what's coming." June smiled. "Then let's get started." The next 3 weeks were brutal. Hana trained harder than she ever had. She learned to use human weapons. Rifles. Grenades. Explosives. She learned human tactics. Ambushes. Traps. Psychological warfare. She learned to think like a human. Not what honor demanded, but what victory required. She sparred with June every day. At first, she lost every time. He was faster, stronger, more experienced. But slowly she adapted. She learned his patterns, found his weaknesses, used them. On the final day before the fleet departed, she managed to pin him, for just a second. But it was enough. June grinned from the ground. "You're learning. Good. You'll need it." The alarm sounded across the base. It was time. The fleet was assembling. The Volgrim were coming. Hana and June walked to the transport together. Around them, soldiers prepared. Curian and human working side by side now, united by necessity. "United by war, ready?" June asked. Hana checked her weapons. Plasma spear, human rifle, grenades, knife. She was a hybrid now. Kyorian precision and human brutality combined. "Ready." They boarded the transport. As they lifted off, Hana looked down at the base, at the two halves that had become one. She thought about what June had said. Fear keeps you alive. Guilt means you care. And survival is the only victory that matters. The stars waited. The Volgrim waited. The war waited. But this time, Hana was ready. The Volgrim fleet came like a storm. 200 warships dropped out of faster-than-light travel at the edge of the Kiora system. They were so many that they blocked out the stars. War Prime Krell broadcast across all channels. His voice was like thunder. "Kiorians, you have one cycle to surrender. One cycle to save yourselves. Refuse and we will burn every world you hold. Every station. Every ship. Nothing will remain." On the bridge of the human flagship, General Taeyang listened. Then he opened a channel. His response was simple. 3 words in the ancient language of Earth. "Come and take it." The Volgrim fleet advanced. Slow. Confident. Overwhelming. The Kiorian fleet held their traditional formation. Defensive lines. Energy shields at maximum. They were ready to die protecting their homeworld. The human fleet scattered. No formation. No pattern. Just chaos. The battle began. Human destroyers accelerated to impossible speeds. They fired metal rods accelerated to near light speed. Simple. Primitive. Devastating. The rods punched through Volgrim shields like they were paper. 3 capital ships died in the first minute. The Volgrim adjusted. Tightened their formation. Increased shield power. They would not fall for the same trick twice. The humans switched tactics. Small drones, thousands of them, swarmed from human carriers. They attached to Volgrim hulls like insects, then detonated. Not big explosions. Small ones. But thousands of small explosions could kill a ship just as dead as one big one. Krell screamed orders. His fleet was dying. Bleeding. And he did not understand why. On the surface of Kiora Prime, the real war was about to begin. Volgrim landing craft broke through the orbital defenses. They landed near the capital city. Thousands of soldiers poured out. Hana stood on the city walls. Beside her, June checked his weapons. Around them, mixed human and Curian units prepared. "They outnumber us 10 to 1, Hana said. "Good," June said. "Means we can't miss." The Volgrim advanced across the open ground. Heavy armor led, siege walkers, 50 feet tall, armed with plasma cannons. Behind them, thousands of soldiers. They expected walls to defend. Expected the Curians to fight from fortifications. Expected honor and rules. The humans had turned the entire city into a weapon. The Volgrim reached the first street. Buildings exploded. Every window. Every door. Time charges detonated in sequence. The street became a kill zone. The Volgrim retreated. Tried another route. Found mines, traps, ambushes. Every corner held death. Every shadow held enemies. The siege walkers pushed forward. Nothing could stop them. Nothing could hurt them. Until they stepped on the buried fuel depot. The explosion was visible from orbit. 3 city blocks vanished. 4 siege walkers destroyed. 1,000 Volgrim soldiers gone in an instant. June watched from a rooftop. That's the thing about siege equipment. Big target, easy to trap, but more Volgrim came. Always more. They adapted. Sent scouts, checked for traps. Advanced slowly, so the humans adapted too. Strike teams emerged from sewers. Hit supply lines, disappeared. The Volgrim never knew where the next attack would come from. Hana led one of these teams. A mix of human and Curian soldiers. They moved through the underground tunnels. Found a Volgrim ammunition depot. Planted charges. Escaped before the guards noticed. The depot exploded. Secondary explosions followed as ammunition cooked off. The blast destroyed 2 more Volgrim formations. Days passed. The Volgrim could not break through. Every gain cost them hundreds of soldiers. Every street was a battle. Every building was a fortress. One last siege walker remained. The biggest one. It pushed toward the city center, toward the civilian shelters. If it reached them, thousands would die. June pulled Hana aside. I have a plan. You're not going to like it. He showed her the weapon, a small device. Tactical nuclear charge. We plant this inside the walker. Set it for 5 minutes. Get out. How do we get inside? June smiled. Through the access hatch on the belly. We climb up while it's moving. That's insane. Yeah, let's go. They moved through the ruins, got ahead of the walker, waited as it approached. The ground shook with each step. The machine was massive, unstoppable. As it passed over them, they jumped, grabbed onto the maintenance ladder, climbed. The walker's legs moved around them. One wrong move and they would be crushed. They reached the access hatch. June cut through the lock with his powered knife. They climbed inside. The interior was dark, hot, full of machinery. And Volgrim crew, they fought quietly. Knives only. No guns, too loud. Every kill had to be silent. They reached the reactor chamber. June placed the charge, armed it. 5 minutes, time to leave. They ran. Back through the walker. Down the ladder. Dropped to the ground. Ran. Behind them, the walker stopped. The crew had found the bomb. Were trying to disable it. Too late. The explosion turned night into day. The walker vaporized. The shockwave flattened buildings for blocks. The EMP killed every electronic device in the area. Hana and June lay in the rubble, ears ringing, bodies battered, but alive. Above them, the space battle was ending. The Volgrim fleet was broken, retreating. For the first time in their history, they had been defeated. War Prime Krell's last transmission was intercepted. Just 4 words. Mark this system forbidden. The Volgrim would not return. Not here, not ever. The humans had won. 3 months after the battle, Kiora Prime was rebuilding. The scars of war remained. Burned buildings, crater-filled streets, memorials to the fallen. But life returned, slowly, carefully. Hana stood before one of those memorials. It listed the names of her fallen squad. 12 names carved into black stone. She visited every day, spoke to them in her mind, told them about what she had learned. About the humans. About survival. June found her there. He said nothing. Just stood beside her, understanding without words. I've been promoted, Hana said finally. Captain. Leading mixed units, human and Kiorian together. You earned it. I couldn't have done any of this without you, without your people. June smiled. We're all one people now. That's what matters. They walked through the city together. Everywhere, humans and Kiorians worked side by side, rebuilding, training, living. The alliance had become real, not just military necessity, but friendship. Commander Mirai called them to the command center that evening. When they arrived, they found General Taeyang already there. Both commanders looked serious. The Galactic Assembly has called an emergency session, Mirai said. They want to discuss the human question. Let me guess, June said. They're afraid of us. Very afraid, Taeyang confirmed. 17 species want restrictions on human military expansion. They saw what we did to the Volgrim. They think we're the next threat. Are we? Hana asked quietly. Taeyang looked at her. That depends on them. We came to help, to protect, but if they make us enemies, we'll respond accordingly. There's something else, Mirai said. Something the Assembly has been hiding. For centuries, she activated a holographic display. It showed a map of the galaxy. Beyond the rim, in the dark space between galaxies, something waited. A cloud of ships. Millions of them. They're called the Devourers, Mirai continued. Machine intelligence. They consume entire civilizations, convert everything into more machines. The Assembly has known about them for 500 years. Why hide it? June asked. Because the Devourers were dormant, sleeping. The Assembly hoped they would never wake up. But our war with the Volgrim used enough energy signatures to attract their attention. They're active again. And they're coming. Silence filled the room. How long? Taeyang asked. 5 years, maybe less. And they want to restrict human military expansion now? June laughed. Not with humor. With exhaustion. They're idiots. They're scared, Hana said. Afraid of what they don't understand. We were like that once. Before we met humans. Before we learned. Then they need to learn fast, Taeyang said. Because machine intelligence doesn't care about fear, doesn't negotiate, doesn't stop. It just consumes. The assembly session happened 2 weeks later. Hana attended as the Curian representative. She stood before thousands of delegates from hundreds of species, all watching, all judging. She told them about the battle, about what humans had done, about how they fought. She did not hide the brutality, did not sugarcoat the violence. She told the truth. Humans are terrifying, she said. I will not lie about that. They fight without honor, without rules, without mercy, but they fight to win. And when the Devourers come, we will need that. We will need warriors who refuse to lose, who adapt, who survive. The assembly debated for hours. Some wanted to exile humanity, send them back to Earth, isolate them. Others wanted to use them. Turn them into weapons, Hana spoke again. Humans are not weapons. They are people. Flawed, violent, but also brave, loyal. They saved my life. They saved my world. They will save all our worlds if you let them, but only if you treat them as equals, as partners, not as tools. The vote was close, but it passed. Humanity would be recognized as a protector species, charged with defending the galaxy against existential threats, given resources, given authority, given responsibility. That night, Hana and June stood on an observation platform, looking at the stars, knowing what was coming. Do you think we can win? Hana asked. Against machines that learn from every battle? That never tire? That never stop? June was quiet for a long moment. I don't know, but I know we'll try. And I know we're not alone anymore. That's something. It's everything, Hana said softly. They stood together in silence, two warriors from different worlds, united by war, united by friendship, united by hope. The stars waited. The Devourers waited. The future waited, but they would face it together. 5 years passed. The galaxy prepared for war. Every species contributed. Ships, soldiers, weapons, technology. The coalition grew stronger, but so did the Devourers. They came without warning. Their fleet emerged at the galactic rim. 10,000 warships, all machine, all perfect, all learning. The first battles were disasters. Traditional tactics failed. The machines adapted instantly, learned from every move, countered every strategy. Species that had fought wars for thousands of years were helpless, but humans were different. Hana, now a general, commanded a mixed fleet. Human and Curian ships working together. She had learned well, adapted, survived. She was no longer just Curian. She was something new, something the galaxy needed. June, now a colonel, led special operations. His team struck behind enemy lines, hit the machines where they did not expect, used tactics no computer could predict, because machines optimize. Humans improvise. The turning point came at the Battle of the Rim. The Devourer Command Nexus was identified, a massive structure, the brain of their entire fleet. Destroy it and the machines would lose coordination. But it was protected by 1,000 warships. Defenses that had never been breached. General Taeyang proposed a suicide mission. A small team would board the Nexus, plant a weapon, a logical paradox coded into a virus, something that required emotion to solve, something machines could not process. June volunteered immediately. So did Hana. You don't have to do this, Taeyang said to Hana. You've done enough. More than enough. I learned from humans, Hana replied. You fight to win. Whatever it takes. This is what it takes. The mission team was small. 12 members, human, Curian, 6 other species. All volunteers. All knowing they probably would not return. They used a captured Devourer scout ship to approach. The machines did not detect them until it was too late. They boarded the Nexus. The interior was alien, cold, mechanical. No organic life had ever walked these corridors. The walls pulsed with data, information flowing like blood through veins. Defenses activated. Machine soldiers emerged from the walls. Perfect warriors. No fear, no hesitation, no mercy. The team fought through. Every meter cost them. Team members fell. 1, 2, 3. By the time they reached the core, only Hana and June remained. The core was a sphere of pure computation. Billions of processes running simultaneously. The mind of the Devourers. June pulled out the virus device. Ready? Hana covered the entrance. Machine soldiers were coming. Hundreds of them. Do it. June activated the device. The virus uploaded. A single question sent into the core. What is worth dying for? The Devourers tried to answer. Ran every calculation, every simulation, every logical path. But the answer required something they did not have. Emotion, love, hope, fear, all the messy organic things that made life worth living. The core froze. Not crashed, just stopped, unable to process, unable to continue. Across the Devourer fleet, ships stopped moving. Weapons powered down. The coordination was broken. The Coalition fleet struck with everything. The Devourers could not adapt, could not respond, could not fight back. In the Nexus core, alarms blared. Self-destruct initiated. The structure was going to explode. We need to go, Hana said. Now, they ran. Through corridors, past frozen machine soldiers. The Nexus shook, falling apart. They reached the docking bay. Their ship was still there. They jumped aboard, launched behind them. The Nexus exploded. A light so bright it was visible for light years. The Devourer command structure was destroyed. The remaining machines retreated, fled into dark space, defeated but not destroyed. They would need time to rebuild, to adapt. But the galaxy had time now. Time to prepare, time to grow stronger. Months later, a memorial was built. It listed the names of all who fell fighting the Devourers. Thousands of names, hundreds of species, all united in death as they had been in life. Hana and June stood before it. Older now, scarred, tired, but alive. Do you remember the first time we met? Hana asked. When you fell from the sky? June smiled. You thought I was death incarnate? I still do, Hana said. But you're our death incarnate. And I'm grateful for it. They looked out at the stars. The galaxy was safe. For now. The Devourers would return someday. Other threats would emerge. The universe was dangerous. War would never truly end. But the galaxy was different now. Species that once fought alone now fought together, learned from each other, grew stronger together. Humanity had brought violence to the stars. But they had also brought something else. Something the galaxy needed. The will to survive. The refusal to surrender. The stubborn, relentless determination to keep fighting no matter the odds. Ready for whatever comes next? June asked. Hana gripped her weapon, smiled. With you, always the stars waited. The future waited. And two warriors stood ready to face it, together.